Okay, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to tell you why you should only buy used tech. I'm Scott with Techno Eclipse, and let's just begin. After this, if you want to follow me on Twitter and you want to DM me directly, that's probably the best way to get directly in contact with me, although I essentially answer every single comment. And also, if you want to join the Techno Eclipse community, it's very easy. Hit subscribe and then go to check out the community forum. It'll be linked down below, as well as my Twitter and my Instagram, which I have begun to post on recently. So why should you only buy used tech? Well, this is only for people who cannot afford to just constantly be buying new technology. That's probably most of you, although not all of you. So if you're rich, just click off the video. Or if you want to understand how poor people think, or not necessarily poor people, but people who just want to save money on their computers, stick around. So the biggest thing here, and I'm going to preach this a lot in this video, is patience. Somebody like myself can be a little impatient. A new processor comes out, a new GPU, a new computer, all this new stuff, this new tech is always coming out. Bigger, better, faster, stronger, harder. Just better, better, better. Like recently with Intel and AMD with Ryzen, you see this huge jump in core count. For somebody like myself, who I would consider myself a core aficionado, it's huge to have a bunch of cores, especially when you're video editing, which is mainly what I use a computer for. But what I find is that it's best to just wait a generation, to just be patient. Myself, I got caught up in this non-patience when I built this computer that is sitting over there currently, and don't mind the mess in that B-roll. I'm a little bit dirty sometimes, but I cleaned it up for off camera, for on camera. But what happened was I wanted a new computer. I had the money, and I was like, I'm gonna go buy one. So instead of being patient and waiting for a used 8700K computer or a used 8700, or just looking up different parts on eBay, I walked into Micro Center, spent a bunch of money that I shouldn't have spent, probably spent $200-300 more than I should have, and then that includes tax. And I walked out, had a really, really good computer. I'm not complaining about it. But like I was messaging somebody today on Twitter, it almost took the fun out of computers for me. That computer is too good. It's no fun. There's no hack, there's no gimmick, there's no trick to get it to work. I'm not like, oh yeah, I got this budget computer that's like just barely scraping by and it's working and it's sweet, or I had to use an eGPU on my MacBook Pro, or I had to do this, or I had to do that, I had to switch to this type of video editing platform. It's like, takes the fun out of it, I guess. I guess myself, I like kind of more of a challenge. I like when I gotta figure it out. I gotta figure out a new way to get it working better, a new way to get it working a little bit more powerful, or how I can upgrade it, or how I can do this, how I can do that. That computer sitting over there to my right is just simply too powerful. It really has taken the fun out of computers for me. Kind of weird, but you understand. But what I'm talking about is patience. That computer has an 8600K, a Vega 56, 16 gigabytes of RAM, overkill, overkill, overkill. I spent $200 to $300 more on that than I should have, and I purchased the Vega 56 for $250. Probably about $50 off what it's worth, $300, maybe around $250, but saving $150 in the process of buying that, because that GPU brand new costs $400. And that's what I'm talking about today. Price to performance and just overall price. Upgrading a computer is way simpler when you have patience. It's super, super simple. It's super, super obvious, but most of us cannot do it, myself is included. If you were to just run about 2 generations behind, maybe even a third, or at least one, depending on how much money you have, or 4th or 5th generation behind, you can save so much money and still get a ton of performance. If you are a gamer, a 4th gen i7 or a 4th gen i5, a 3rd gen i7, and maybe a 2nd gen i7, although I would probably lean towards that's a little bit too old at this point, especially if you have a more powerful graphics card, is still plenty of power for 2019 gaming. And if you're somebody who video edits, those are still plenty of power to video edit. Because video editing software does not keep up with the rate of technology. It can't. Because every single year something new gets released, and it's more powerful, better, stronger, faster, harder. But while hardware is constantly getting more and more powerful, software and programs cannot keep up. They cannot be nearly as demanding for a couple of reasons. One, because if they make it too powerful and need too many resources, some people just won't be able to use it. And when people have a pretty decently powerful computer that cost them a few years ago $2,000, brand new, and then now it's still worth like $600, but they can't even use Premiere Pro or like DaVinci Resolve or a different editing program, it kind of renders that computer useless and renders that program useless, because then they're going to move to a different program. So what I'm saying here is, this is the same with games as well. Games are slightly more demanding in 2019, but when you look at the graph and the charts and the performance gain and loss, you really only need 4 cores still. Intel was preaching that for years. That's why they never released more cores. But it's true. More cores does not mean better performance in games in 2019, early 2019. In 2020, 2021, I could be eating my words and I'll look like an idiot. That's fine. But I still believe you should run a generation or 2 or 3 behind and just be patient. The reason I made this video is because I found a 2017 iMac Pro on eBay that sold for $2,500 and then $3,500 and then $3,500, and I found so many that were $1,500 cheaper than what Apple sells it for. And then also on top of that, you got to consider the fact that the government charges you 7, 8, 6% tax whenever you purchase something from Apple. So now instead of paying $5,000, you're paying $5,350 for that brand new base model iMac. Or you could wait, get it used, buy it off of eBay for $2,500 or $3,500 or even $4,500 and save $1,000, save 20%. So what I'm saying is, be patient, run a generation behind. You don't need the latest and greatest, you just don't. If you can afford it, go buy it. I understand. And if you don't like buying stuff used, I also understand that side of the argument. You lose the warranty, you lose service, you might buy a dud, you might buy a computer that just doesn't work, but that's why eBay has great return policies. You get like 14 days, and it's essentially no questions asked. So what I'm saying is, just run a generation behind, run 2 generations behind, run 3 generations behind. Look at laptops. I found a Razer Blade 14-inch i7 6700 HQ, almost 4K screen, 3200 by 1800 resolution, a GTX 970M for $550. In 2016, when that laptop was originally released, it would have cost you over $2,000. That is only 3 years ago, closer to 2.5 years ago. So you're telling me you can't run 2.5 generations behind, or 2 years, 2.5 years behind, because what you need, more performance, better, what do you need? Because, okay, there's a percentage of people who do need that, but I'm going to say the far majority of people should always buy used. Another great example is the RX 580s. A lot of those cards might be mined on. Keep that in mind. In my opinion, not a big deal. That's what you get. You save a bunch of money because you buy used, because there is that inherent risk. But an RX 580 brand new is $250. Used, it's like $100 in the United States. Also, upgrading is really good, because you could purchase, let's say, like a 2013 MacBook Pro for $600 like I did, and then use it for 6 months, and then during that 6 months, each month save an extra $50, $40, $30, $20, whatever you can afford, $100, whatever you can afford, and then sell that MacBook Pro for a profit or a loss of what? $50 max, because the life cycle of those things, they already have their value, and in 6 months they're not going to drop that much. And then the funds you just made from that computer, adding onto the funds you saved up over the last 6 months, you could have like $1,000 instead of just the $600 you had. And then you could buy another computer, save up for another few months, and then slowly upgrade that way. That is one of the best ways to upgrade your computer, while also saving all kinds of money and gaining all kinds of performance, because you're learning the smart way to upgrade, not just buying the newest thing every single day, because the value of a new product drops the second you open it. The second you even buy it from Apple, that new MacBook Pro is worth 20% less. It's the same with a car. It's no different. So run a generation behind. You'll get way better performance for way less money, and if you can learn patience, it'll just be better for your life. I'm Scott with Techno Eclipse. If you didn't like the video, leave. And if you did like the video, hit subscribe, hit that like button, and I'll see you in the comment section down below. Don't forget about my Twitter and my Instagram and the website. Man, I'm asking you guys to do a lot of stuff. All right, thanks again for watching. I'm Scott with Techno Eclipse. I think I already said that. Peace out. Peace out.